Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here with another Warhammer Total War live battlecast. In this game, it looks like I'm playing against an Empire opponent, so let's go ahead and play the Greenskins. We're going to get an Orc Warboss, put him on his pig, which is a pretty good choice. Definitely keeps him out of the air, which is very important against the Empire because they can easily overpower you because pretty much all you'll have is the Warboss on a Wyvern. And no amount of ground support can really cover that Empire goon squad in the air. So we're going to go ahead and get the Orc Shaman for the WA. Really nice in turning those infantry battles and making sure you're getting good value, basically. So we're going to get him, and we have the Goblin Big Boss on the Spider. He's pretty nice to put with your Cav. He'll apply the poison to Demogryph Knights, and then your Orc Biggins, which I'm going to get 2 groups of, can generate some pretty good results. So we're also going to get 1 Goblin Wolf Rider just for Vanguard deployment, some light harass in the back, and hopefully that'll generate some good results for me here. So feeling pretty good. We're going to get 1 Doom Diver Catapult. I really like this. Just stick it on a group of handgunners, and it will usually pay for itself, at least from my limited experience. And even if he does send some units to deal with it, it at least takes them out of the main fight for some short period of time. So we're going to get 3 Black Orcs to deal with great swords and those type of things. Then we're going to get 2 groups of Biggins, which will be pretty good. And then let's go ahead and get some Savage Orcs, maybe. I haven't been using them much, but they do have really high weapon strength at 35. So against like low tier troops like Halberdiers and Spearmen, they're pretty good. But a lot of times, Empire players will simply bring like great swords and things like that. So if they end up doing something like that, they can usually be pretty cost ineffective in that respect. So we're actually going to get rid of those. We are going to get a Night Goblin Fanatic just to have some poison. You know, if his Lord does decide to land and I'm able to poison him before he can take off, then sometimes you can actually take him out before he can get away. So pretty decent situation there. Then, you know, since we have 600, let's just square it away and get 2 groups of lads. I feel like that's decent. They are shielded. So against Empire crossbowmen and all those type of things, they're pretty resilient at taking a beat down for sure. And they do come in high numbers. And again, like their toolset suggests, they are highly expendable. So definitely a very, very good situation there. I do like the lads. I actually like lad compositions where you have like a ton of goblins and then Arachnarok spiders. It's definitely an off-meta pick that can screw a lot of people up. So again, I don't think it's an inherently strong build, just as a standalone build, but it does catch people off. If you have like a ton of goblins and they're expecting Black Orcs and all that stuff, and you know, Biggins, then you come with a bunch of lads and some Arachnarok spiders, it definitely throws people off their game. So right now, just waiting for my opponent to load, but yeah, Empire is definitely a very, very strong faction. I would say Empire and Vampire counts are, I know I'm often asked this, but I do think Empire and Vampire counts are probably the strongest factions. Undoubtedly, they got a lot of new resources at their disposal with the Grim and the Grave DLC. Especially the Vampire counts in that respect, but Empire is still extremely strong, has a very deep roster, great leadership options, great cav, just all around solid faction. I would say in terms of second selection, yeah, that's tough to say. I think the Greenskins are really strong. I think they're up there, but they're definitely not up to snuff with the Empire or the Vampire counts. Not to say they can't beat them or crush them in some circumstances, but just in terms of overall, you know, options at your disposal, Greenskins are pretty good though. They have a lot of options there. Bretonia is pretty good. I mean, you can put Bretonia in that bracket. Bretonia is very difficult to play. It's a very, you know, I don't know if tenuous would be the correct word, but you have to be very careful with the way that you're microing your troops when you're playing Bretonia, because things can go south really quick when you have a huge peasant army. So we're going to go ahead, set up our Doom Diver there. Should be fine. You can see it pretty much has like range over half of their spawn zone, so it's going to probably start shooting right away. Put these guys in front, put the Black Orcs here, and we will put the Biggins probably. We can put 1 group here and 1 group here. The Biggins are just such a cool unit. And let's see, where do we want the Warboss? So against the Empire, you usually want to keep the Warboss and like your Shaman among your troops, because if they get isolated and jumped by, you know, 2 or 3 flying mounted units, you're going to be in some big trouble, guys. So we'll put the Goblin right there, the Night Goblin Archers. And as far as Vanguard deployment, we can go in the trees over here. This is actually a pretty good Vanguard deployment situation. And we're going to put these guys and their Goon Squad together here. So then you send this guy in first, pop his potion when he takes the initial shock damage, and then simply follow up with the Orc Boar Biggins. So, all right, so we'll put these guys here. These guys can kind of post up on the hill here. That should be fine, and we'll go ahead and get started. So our armies are actually virtually the exact same size, which is interesting because I do have lads. So we're going to go ahead and start shooting at these handgunners. That is going to be a prime situation. We'll just assess his army real quick. So he has 2 groups of Demogryph Knights and the Royal Atdorf Griffites. So very, very strong there. And what's nice about the handgunners, guys, in this matchup is you guys see the lads. Granted, they are shorter than Black Orcs. It is hard for the handgunners to get an optimal firing line on these Black Orcs when the lads are in the way. So, and again, they're going to benefit greatly from the shielded. So we're going to pull this guy up and around here. up and around, just like that. Great. And we're going to go and try and isolate these Demogryph Knights. That's going to be a really, really, really strong situation if I can. And I may want to keep like my Shaman over this way so he can reach them with the buffs. That's going to be very big as well. So we're going to go ahead and engage here. And you can see this is exactly what you want, guys. The lad's just taking all that beating. So we're going to go ahead and send in the Goblin Big Boss to try and poison and slow them. And we're going to send these guys up and around here. And all right, so we're sitting pretty, relatively speaking. We're going to have them shoot there, and we're going to have these Black Orcs go here. These guys are going to go here, and these guys are going to go here. So he is going after the Doomdiver Catapult, which is fine. Not much you can do about it, guys, but it could be much worse. So this guy's going to come up and around here, and these guys are going to go here, and we can actually shoot here. That'd be fine, and send these biggins over here to collapse. That's going to be a pretty optimal situation for me here. So the Black Orcs are getting in. The War Boss 2 is going to get in pretty well, and you can see the poison on those Night Goblin Archers, and then the collapse from those biggins is going to be pretty valuable. So battle's about to start, so we're going to move him in, and we are going to get the Orc Shaman here. We're going to use Fist of Gork right in that juicy center. And right now, you guys can see the Goblin Big Boss is doing pretty well, and the Goblin Wolf Riders were able to pull over and support as well. And a lot of times, the single Doomdiver Catapult, and a really nice basically strategy with it is that the fact that it does kind of act as a distraction, because you can see his General of the Empire has been out of the game for quite some time, and you know, it's a very, very, very good circumstance for me. So we're going to go here. We're going to pull these guys to finish off the Griffites over there. We're going to pull these guys around. Just continue. We can get him in the flank, and we want to get these guys around the back so they can really pressure. And now that my buffs have worn off, we can go ahead and use the WA and the leadership buffs, which is going to be quite good. So we're going to pull him back just a little bit, take advantage of those guys' speed, move these guys up and around here. They did a great job collapsing there. And the Goblin Big Boss, we can go ahead and send him in there, have him do some good work. Yeah, those Griffites are so freaking strong, guys. I probably should have left the Big Boss in retrospect, but, you know, I think that his army is taking enough punishment here that it's going to pay off for me. So we'll have those guys collapse there and just continue to check for our buffs, make sure that we're using everything to its optimal circumstances here. Go ahead and recharge there, and it looks like the Night Goblin lads are... That's fine, though. There's so many of them, and, you know, they can spend all day if they want on those guys. I have no problem with that. So we'll have these guys turn around, fight those. We'll send my Lord over to help, and we will use our buffs here in just a few seconds. And it looks like he did summon a Manticore just now, so perhaps he used some other abilities first, and, you know, was kind of waiting on those. So we'll get those in there. Continue to pressure. We'll use the Fist of Gork here, which will be quite strong. We'll check our Cav. They were able to clean up, so we'll go ahead and circle around the back, which is going to be good. He has a lot of, like, units that are kind of close to routing. And again, when you see your units kind of like standing clustered like this, just select them all and repath them and make sure they're optimally engaged. And we'll get these Black Orcs focusing on his General of the Empire, who is armored here. And the Night Goblin lads are back now, so we'll get them focusing on that General as well. That poison is going to be very, very strong. And he might just be running out, or that might have just been the attack animation, I'm not sure. But anyways, here we go, it's back up. So let's go ahead and use it over here. Make sure these troops are pushing through here. And let's go ahead and take a look at my Cav, and they are in great shape, so we can have them chase down those units. And my Night Goblins, I almost forgot about these guys. It's very easy to forget about the poor lads sometimes. So I'll move these guys, get them engaged again, get these guys back, have him start shooting at the General of the Empire. So far, so good. I still have my potion, and a lot of his great swords, these are Sigmar's Sons, so they are a very resilient unit, but they will get cut through pretty badly by, and we'll go ahead and engage here on the back of these. That's gonna be pretty backbreaking for my opponent. And the WA will be up in 10 seconds, so we'll go ahead and use that leadership buff. He does have some routing units, and it looks like the Amber Wizard's back there as well. So we want to pull him out so he's not taking too much damage. Continue to focus with my missile units, and then, of course, when you are playing a lad-centric composition, you want to check for routing units. And we'll use this guy to kind of chase down, you know, the various units that are, you know, off the battlefield, essentially. So we'll go ahead and use the WA, and he does have Sigmar's Sons there, so that's, you know, one of the main reasons why, you know, his troops haven't collapsed over there yet, because the numbers are pretty overwhelming in my favor, I would say. Black Orcs are in good shape. Again, the Demogryph Knights, like I was telling you guys, if you bring a little poison to the table, depending, you know, it can be the Night Goblin Archers or any number of troops, it's going to, you know, pay huge dividends for you. So most of his troops are shaken now, and I do have the WA now, which I just used, so this Sons of Sigmar over here, though they are awesome, there are only 14 of them left, so actually, something I always miss is when my Doomdivers do get routed, I always forget to put them back on their respective turret there, but that would have made a little bit of difference, probably would have helped, but at the end of the day, I would say it went pretty well. I don't know what he has left here. Does he have any of Sigmar's Sons? I thought I destroyed them all, but it looks like there's 3. So, again, like the dwarves, you have to make sure to finish those guys off, and the Greenskins down here should have no problem doing that. So, definitely a good game there. It went pretty well for me in that Cav matchup, as you guys can see. The Griffites, and you know, they're really strong units, but you guys saw how truly effective the Orc Boarboy Biggins, in conjunction with, they were getting the support of the Night Goblin Archers, and then if you keep them relatively close to your army, the Biggins can also get over there and do some pretty good work for you. His Greatswords did a pretty good job. I would say that was one of his more cost-effective units. Davy Crockett did well. The Manticore was a little late, but I think that's because he used Flock of Doom and some other abilities earlier on to try and really, punish my army. I think he was, must have been a Flock of Doom or something, but perhaps you guys noticed. You guys saw the handgunners? They got a few volleys off against the lads, and that's where those kills came in. But after that, the arc of them, you have to be really, really effective in positioning them because they kind of just got bunched in with the rest of his army, and he was having trouble detaching them because of my cav that was in the back. But it's hard to use handgunners and on those really leveled maps like that. That's another thing, guys. Always, take into account if you're trying to be real competitive at this game, and I'm still terrible at it, but get to know the maps. It's very pertinent because on some maps there's slight terrain dips, in the starting areas, and that can make a huge difference as to the efficacy of gunners. So again, great game to my opponent, RTK Adelmo. I look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that live Battlecast. Have an excellent night and take care.